Hey, good morning.
Hey, it's Friday already.
And welcome to Rural Community Solutions TV. One episode you will not want to miss.
You'll be glad that you came today. It's wrap-up week for Vision. This is Entrepreneurship Month for Rural Community Solutions, and I'm Kim Spillers.
I'm Frank Spillers.
And this is Cece. She's our Wooka raccoon. She helps us welcome, understand, comfort, and appreciate ourselves and others. Those are qualities that each of us as individuals are important to have in our communities so that our communities are welcoming and inviting to everyone. So, hello, Cece. She hangs out with us, keeps us on track. So she's our mascot.
So she helps us create that curriculum that builds that environment in your community. And everything that we do here at Rural Community Solutions is WUCA.
Yes.
That's our basis. That's our foundation. That's how we have lived, tried to live. Let's put it that way. That's our goal. That's our strive that we do to live in that type of environment and create that type of environment for other people.
So that's WUCA. Welcome, understand, comfort, appreciate. Those are the four foundations, and we have transformed those into pillars, and that's part of what you learn when you listen to our sessions.
And week 7.
Woohoo! We're at the end
this
already.
is the end of week 7. This has really been wow.
Fast.
This is
7 weeks already.
It is. And it's amazing because this was a vision, if you will, something that has come about for us anyway. Some way that we can do our work. Because of the COVID situation, we can't travel. We can't help communities on the ground. We have traveled 40 to 50,000 miles a year over the last couple of years, helping communities across this country become a great environment, a rural community having a great environment that are building people and
growing prosperity,
becoming what they want to become, but building that prosperous community. And because of the COVID, we have been grounded. We have been our car since March has 5,000 miles on it. So let's see, middle of March to April, May, June, July, August, September. We're in the end, middle of September. So 6 months. We've only put 5,000 miles on our car. And that's only...
And we miss people.
2 or 3 gas tanks. So yeah, we saved a lot of money in gas, but man, oh man, this is pretty difficult because we get our energy off of helping people, helping other communities that can grow. And so this vision that we have is our steps towards how do we create community prosperity. And so we're hoping that you are having benefits out of this. You're getting something. Please comment wherever you are, either on our Facebook page at Rural Community Solutions or our YouTube channel at Rural Community Solutions TV, live stream on YouTube. Comment, make some comments, hit the subscribe button. Share these episodes with others, because as we can build this and build the WUCA environment across this country, we can help other people, and it helps us too. So support it, share it, get the word out there. We'd really, really appreciate it.
And especially to learn from it. We are sharing content, what we know how to do that will help rural communities grow and prosper. So if you know someone or you live in a rural community, please share this or use it use it yourself. Use these principles and move on. So this is wrap up today of week 7, which has been all about vision during our Entrepreneurship Month in September.
And why we do this is because of this. It's the foundation of your community is entrepreneurship, because only 98% of your new jobs that are created across this country, 98% of them come from new business startups or your existing business base. So you have new jobs creativity, you have your new jobs availability within the people that already live in your community. So why go outside and create all this money and spend all this money and all this time on trying to recruit like a Fortune 1000 company or something like that, when you have under your nose the talent already within your community? And because of that, it's really hard to try and do 8 things at once when you're doing your own broadcast here.
It's okay. You do great.
When we do this and we have created the pillars, these are our 4 community prosperity pillars that we work on. The important one is relationships, because that's your base. That is the foundation of how you grow your community into a prosperous community. Because if you don't have great relationships in your community, nothing else matters, because people won't get along, they won't feel welcome, they don't feel like they belong there, and they will want to leave. So look at your population trends. And if people are leaving more than they are coming back, or they are staying, in other words, if your population's going from here to here and it trends downward, you might have a relationship problem. The second pillar is engagement. Do people feel like they can come and have a conversation? Do they feel like their voices are heard in your community? Because when your voices are heard in your community, people then feel a part of the solution. And in my chamber work as a chamber director and an economic development director in organizational management, let's put it that way, I learned that when people help write it, they will underwrite it. In other words, when people come to the table or come to the solution, the conversation, when people are invited to the conversation and their conversation is valued and what they have to say is valued, and people really try to understand where they're coming from and how they come to where their opinion is formed, and they help support the solution. And the third pillar I want to talk about is collaboration, and that is how people work together. They have that vision, they have a collaborative vision, and they move forward with it because they are being used in their passionate areas. They are being used for their purpose. They are being used because of their skills and their ability. And it's that collaborative leader that understands that person, that can use the people involved in that in the best possible way to get that collaborative vision. And then this all wraps around the entrepreneurship pillar, because entrepreneurial wealth, when connected with the other pillars, entrepreneurial wealth happens, and that's where your economy happens. So using your relationship and engagement, you build trust with people. Using relationships and collaboration, you build the unity. And as I've said all week of this is really where we need this. We need to unify your community, because if you don't unify your community, your country will not be unified. Mm-hmm. It starts local. Mm-hmm. In other words, the other step is, if you don't unify yourself, you won't unify your community. Mm-hmm. If you don't unify your community, you won't unify your country, because what happens out here needs to happen in here first. Mm-hmm. So these are the principles that you need to live by in order for the world to change. It happens internally, then it happens out in the external world. So relationships, collaboration build unity, collaboration, engagement builds great policy. As I said, you use people's talents, you use their abilities, and you listen to them and bring them in and help and use their voice to help solve that problem, that you build policy. When you have trust, you have unity, and you have policy in your community, you have entrepreneurial wealth, because people's creativity is just overflows, and that's where our communities were created, is there. And so using that Venn diagram, that's what Rural Community Solution does in your community. We bring that diagram together. We bring these elements into your community. And throughout the month of October, we will be talking about our processes that we do and address your community with, mm-hmm. is those elements, and how those elements come together to really create a long-term culture change in your community.
And culture change takes time. So if you got to catch yesterday's episode with Don Mackey, he's the vice president of E2 Entrepreneurial Ecosystems. He shared a story that's just being released now after more than 20 years of work in Ord, Nebraska, O-R-D, little tiny town of 2,000 people in a region of 10,000. It's a very small area. But after putting in place several major shifts, cultural shifts, mindset shifts, individuals and communities have their own mindset. You got to shift that mindset into a whole different way of doing things. And the story of Ord is absolutely phenomenal for that, how they're turning around their population, how they're growing their business life, how they're getting new people. Either their kids are staying or they're coming back. They're inviting new people. Their youth population, their young adult population, their young professional population is growing. That's what rural America is all about. So it's a fabulous story. So catch Thursday's episode if you'd like to hear a little bit more about entrepreneurial ecosystems and why those are important to community health and community growth. Speaking of health, this is Friday, so I have to step out because I am part of a live chat at noon, Inspiring Healthy Living in the Midwest. So that's a whole nother aspect. Healthy people make healthy communities. So that's one of my areas, so part of our business. So I'm going to step out, wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And Frank's going to walk through the rest of the week with you, talking about what we talked about Monday through Thursday. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
Healthy people are healthy eating. That's healthy foods. That's how we build healthy communities. And we have a whole, there's a whole reason why you want your community to eat healthy. Your students learn better. They act better. You have less discipline problems. There's research out there, the schools, that when schools have a healthy eating process within there, it really does. But that's a whole different element. We'll cover that a little bit later on in another episode of Rural Community Solutions. But Rural Community Solutions helps design family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract people. They attract people, and people that have home-based businesses, people that are entrepreneurs, and people that have telework. I mean, they telework. They're not going back into their office, so to speak, in downtown metro areas. And so rural communities really have this opportunity that they can collect that workforce that is changing because of this COVID that we're going through. The COVID crisis is happening across America, but because of this, we are finding out that people are looking for places to live and bringing their jobs with them, or they're looking for places to live to get out of the area to where there is a congregation of people, and they want to spread out, but they're looking for specific homes to where they can work from. So they need specific areas in that home. They need a large yard, or they need a large play area for their kids, because while they're working, their kids are at home. They need that space. And that is what is happening in the environment. And when Kim mentioned the community of Ord, that's what they're doing. I mean, the population that's coming back is the 30-somethings, between 30 and 49. So we concentrate on the 30 to 49-year-olds because they tend to bring 10 to 14-year-olds with them. And that increases your school population. That increases your youth. And it's youth-centered communities that we're really after. But as we wrap up this week, what is vision? You've heard of that term. You know what vision, that we have yours vision, but this is a term we use a term by Peter Senge, is the vision of a picture, the vision of the picture of the future you wish to create. So it is a design. It is in here. It is the pictures of the future you wish to create. So what does your community look like that you want to create? I mean, who's there? What people are walking around? That's the important part of vision. Few, if any, forces in human affairs are as powerful as a shared vision. And when we talked about collaboration and we talked about a collaborative vision, This is why, is because when you have that collaborative vision and people are getting behind it and they're excited about it, they help build it. They will support it. They will move towards it. And the physicalness of that vision helps move people towards the success of that. So when you create your vision statement, this is what you need to do. You need to think about, now starting in my life, okay, when I have created that vision and that vision is real, what am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I smelling? What am I doing in all 5 of my senses? That's seeing, hearing, smelling, feeling, tasting. What happens in that vision? What's going on in that vision? And what are people talking about? What are they saying about me? What are they saying about our community? And that is all a part of that picture that you wish to create, that picture of where your community is going to go, where your community is. Now, this is something that I really get excited about, and I hope you can tell that, because this is your creativity. Entrepreneurs are creative. They look at solutions. They look at the barriers. They might look at a problem, but they don't see a wall. They see an opportunity. Entrepreneurs identify an opportunity, they identify the solution, and then they take action to address that solution. And so it's the problem, the solution, the action that creates that entrepreneur. Part of the action an entrepreneur takes is the results. They see the results. They see how it is done before it's finished, and they see it in here. And so when we work with a community, we identify the purpose of the process. This is why you want to do this as a person and why you want to do this as a community or an organization. It's because you will expand and clarify your vision of a group. That's what it does. It expands and clarifies the vision of a group or your team or an organization or the community, whatever it is. What are you trying to achieve? It expands that. It identifies opportunities and the avenues for strategic planning. Now, earlier last week, we talked about the why. Okay, so that's your purpose. This gives purpose to your vision. The why gives purpose to your vision. In strategic planning, we always do the what and the how. You know, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Who's going to do it? Who's responsible for it? What time frame? All those physical things. You know, I mean, that's kind of the analytical portion of it. But really, when you look at the inspired portion of that, that's your why. That invokes the emotion. And this is what the vision does too. The vision gives action to your why, and it expands it out to where you are going and gets people excited. The vision, it's also the purpose of this process is to guide purposeful actions. Okay. So how we know where we're going, and I'm going to explain this in a little bit. We know where we're going, but how are we going to get there? And the purpose of this exercise too, of expanding your vision and creating a clear picture and walking through that statement and creating that statement. And you can either create this statement in words, you can create this statement in pictures. Physical, though, I mean, it's got to be physical. Either write it in a paragraph or put it on your. We have a vision door downstairs. We have pictures on our vision door of the future we wish to create, and so that is in front of us all the time. All those pictures that we look at is in front of us all the time. So because of that, because of the statements, and because of the pictures, our likelihood of that vision becoming a reality is huge because we have put it in a form to where our cognitive thought process programs, okay, our programming then starts to work on how that vision comes about. And that's the magic of creating a vision statement. That's the magic of using all 5 of your senses to get your body really excited about where it's going. All right. And so what will this achieve? What does a clear vision achieve? A clear vision, an agreed upon understanding of your vision it's a set of actions that will bridge the current reality to the new vision. All right. That's what it'll achieve. When you have your vision, you're going to take those steps. And we're going to talk about goals next week. All right. Goals, how to get to your vision. We're going to talk about how to set them. We're going to talk about why it's important. We're going to talk about the exact way you set a goal and the wording that you use in your goal to get you from here to there and why that's important. All right. And then also the vision and those steps there are, you consider the kind of the potential obstacles that might be involved, because, you know, visions aren't from here to there in a straight line. Success takes many, many different corners. And so you want to be prepared for those corners. How can you attack that and to create that clear vision? That's the purpose of vision, and that's how you set that vision. And this is a very important part, specifically of entrepreneurs. So if you are a community that wants to build an entrepreneurial culture, you need to think like an entrepreneur. You need to know how they are thinking, and visioning is a part of that process. Visioning, have you ever asked an entrepreneur why they do what they do, and to ask that person, tell me about your business, and their eyes just light up and they start to get really excited and they love to talk. This is why we love to interview entrepreneurs on the show, because they love to talk about their vision. They have a clear picture of the future that they are creating, right? And that's coming from their emotion. That's coming from what we call it's not what we call, it's coming from their limbic brain. It's invoking emotion to where people are moved to that. And this is why vision is so important. This is why the why is so important. It's because it moves people in their limbic brain mode. And that limbic brain mode in a consumer, in an individual, in your volunteer, is emotionally driven. That drives the emotion. And remember when I said collaboration, when people get excited and they're using their skill set and they're using what they want to do and how they can do it, they are driven by an emotion. They are driven because they're excited about what they're doing. They're not really thinking about it. And when you are driven by your emotion, time just passes and you don't even realize it, because you are doing what you love to do and you're moving towards a common vision, and you can see the outcome of that vision. And that's why people move. That's why people volunteer to help a community out with a common vision. This is why it's so important. This is the basis of why it's so important of a community to have that established vision, because people will rally around that vision and they will help build it. They will help build it and get people excited about it, okay? Because people respond to different circumstances, and you have the ability to respond in any way. That's responsibility. Respond ability. The ability to respond in any way. So as you're looking at your community, you can either do one of two things. Look at your community and trash it, or look at your community and see a possibility. When you look at your community and trash it, your population, then that's the trend. This is your brain power in your community. This is your community attitude. You will know that it's because people don't want to stay. People don't want to be around people that are negative. They will get away. And if your community has that negative vibe, if your community is negative on that, they're going to move away. So look at your population trends. Look at your trends. Are you growing in population, or are you gaining an elderly population and losing your youth? It's because they don't see a future. They don't have that vision. They're not looking at the long term of that. And their experiences within that community are saying, you know, it's not a very good place to be because I don't feel good in here. And so I'm looking elsewhere. So you have the ability to respond in any way. And when you do that, then we have that formula of C plus A equals R. Your circumstances plus your actions equal your results. So your circumstances are where you're at. Okay. It is what you observe. And so you need to observe, you need to vision, and then you need the goals and the action steps to get there. So your circumstances are what you're observing right now. And some of that observation, we're going to talk about this in October, the observation is both quantitative and qualitative. In other words, hard data, but also perceptions of people. And we'll tell you how we get to that. So that builds your circumstances of where you are, and you're observing where you are. Then you need to figure out where you want to go. That's your vision. What is the picture of the future you wish to create? And then next week, we're going to be talking about the actions to get you there, how to create those actions, how to create those goals that will still excite people and invoke that emotion in them to get their vision that you want to create. So that's how do you drive your car. And in October, we're going to talk about our institutes. We're going to talk about the 5 institute design process to get you to learn about your community prosperity, to build a prosperous community, but also as your end result to be a family-friendly, youth-focused community that welcomes people, that attracts people, and not just to look at your economic development activities as attracting businesses. So that's been the Vision Week. That's what we've talked about. We've talked about entrepreneurs. We've talked about how do we create that ecosystem of building and supporting entrepreneurs and building an entrepreneurial wealth and building an entrepreneurial economy. And that's why that's important to have that vision, is that create that environment to where creativity can happen, that you have a supportive network, that you understand and think like an entrepreneur. You understand the thinking of an entrepreneur so you can help them, and you can think like an entrepreneur to become an entrepreneurial community. That's Rural Community Solutions. As we build these processes, as we build the environment and use that, we are using more than 30 years of our experience of building successful rural communities, teamed up with Don Mackey, who has more than 40 years experience. And as a team, we have more than 75 years experience of building rural communities. How do we do that? We create that vision. We create these processes. We create the data. We observe the actions and the results. So when you work with Rural Community Solutions, then you get from where you are right now to where you want to be as a community prosperity, as a prosperous community. And when you start to build that prosperous community, your people then become prosperous themselves. And when you have prosperous people in your prosperous community, you're growing. And there's no reason why your rural community can't be that prosperous. All right. So stick with us. Come on back next week. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And it's coming into the fall time. We're starting to on this side of the world anyway, coming into the fall season. So trees are starting to turn. The weather's getting a little more crisp. However, I can still get out to the golf course and enjoy my walk. So remember what Joel Barker has said, that, oh, where is it? Oh, this was flowing so well. Okay, it's Joel Barker, As I'm on my wrong page. I'm wrong on the wrong page. Sorry about that. Joel Barker said that vision, okay, vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision is just a waste of time. But vision with action, you can change the world. So let's go out and change the world. Let's unify. Let's build trust. Let's build great policy within our communities. Let's build a great relationship with us, within us, with other people, and create that environment where people can become what they want to become. I'm Frank Spillers with Rural Community Solutions. Come on back next week, every day, Monday through Friday, the 11:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, as we continue to help you design family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract people to where they can become what they want to become. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you next week at 11:30 on Monday, Central Daylight Time. Have a good week.